was amazing to be met at that level and know that we were transmuting that fear from the violence, and to be able to be different when the session was over, to be able to live into what I wanted to live into instead of what I had been doing just the best I could with what was available, not even knowing that the trauma had such a deep imprint on me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And as we discovered, we had a lot of trauma in our lives, and I think that there was that commonality as well. And I don't know any other people that have wanted to heal as much as you and I have.
That
Some people
was
might
like,
have given up.
yes. And there were aspects of the violence in my life and the violence mainly that had left an imprint that I had not fully realized how deep it went, Judy. And you and I started working right there.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I mean, it was amazing to be met at that level and know that we were transmuting that fear from the violence, and to be able to be different when the session was over, to be able to live into what I wanted to live into instead of what I had been doing just the best I could with what was available, not even knowing that the trauma had such a deep imprint on me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was shocking, all the course of events or cascade of events that happened to you and happened to me. At the time, it was just shocking, you know, uh, beyond what most humans go through. And yet now in hindsight, I see that I really want to talk to people who have healed from trauma. They're the most interesting people. They're the people that have the most wisdom to share, and that I know I can learn from. And that's how I felt with you. Your
Mm.
commitment to healing, and it sure is nice
Well,
being on the light side of the tunnel, isn't it, though?
definitely, definitely to be able to say I have had trauma that was crippling, that caused me to make decisions that weren't so healthful for me, that caused me to be in relationships that really weren't serving me just because of the safety of that relationship. To be free, to be free, to be me, to
Yeah.
be my own self, not needing someone else for protection or for validation. That's what I've reclaimed
Hmm.
in our work together over the years. Yeah. And it came quickly. It wasn't a long-standing healing process once I had the tools to address it, which you and I have been using on each other and on others for all this time.
Yeah, and we're evolving them all the time. They seem to be getting more powerful and quicker and clearer, don't they? I mean,
I think you're right. Yes.
it's a special, um, I think it's a gift that we have, actually, to keep sourcing our unique interpretation of some of these tools that others have taught us. And then we take them and
Mm,
evolve them and play with them. And the ability that you have for me when I'm the patient to glean perspectives that I haven't seen yet. It's so
mhm,
valuable to me to have
mhm,
that new, fresh viewpoint. So I find that's why it's so useful to work with someone else, especially of
mhm.
your caliber. And
Well, and myself with your caliber, because you have been able to ask questions that I could live into as we were doing the work, that I could find solutions to why I wasn't living into them, to what I most wanted to live into and I wasn't able to, and your gentle, caring questions, this inquiry, this small invitation to be with some part of me that hadn't yet been able to be with anything, and
Yeah.
then having that grow and having my essential self emerge over the time that we've worked together. So that, and I think that's what's shifting now, is that we're able to provide more of the sustenance that life has for each person
Mhm.
as we work together with each other, as we work together with people, as we work together with groups, that we know the map so well and we trust the universe
Yeah.
to be right there,
Yeah.
not just for us, but for the person who is wanting healing so much, wanting to get out of pain, wanting to feel some really pleasant emotions instead of the fear or dread they've been dragging around. And there's just more presence here, I would say, because
Mhm.
of our years of showing up for this work and doing the work ourselves.
Yep. Building the faith that the answers are there within each of us, and I think that's what's so beautiful about what you and I do. We know that
Mm,
our clients have their own answers, and it's like we're playing co-detectives, figuring out new ways to look at things and asking those questions so that
mhm,
they
mhm.
they source their own answers and then become their own, have their own faith in the universe as well. And that's, I don't know that I've ever had that as a coach. I think you and I have developed that
Yes,
ability to see that everybody has their own answers if they are asked the questions by us, you know?
right, right. It's like um, giving them invitation to a new map of their world, and for them to ponder even just one little next step that they haven't been able to ask themselves that question or make that invitation to themselves because they're so totally identified with the emotional pain that they're in, or the lack of satisfaction with the life that they've created, or with their broken heart, whatever it is, that there's always this next gentle invitation, not like too big to digest, but
Mhm.
this gentle invitation into what would it be like if you fill in the blank, and to allow the time. I think that's important. The time for a person to hear that, digest that, feel into it as they feel held and supported by us. And then
Yeah.
something comes that's authentic and true for them. So we've given them nothing. They have sourced it from within, and therefore it is congruent. And when something is congruent with our being, we own it. We own the gift of it. It's hard to digest a tragedy if we haven't yet built a foundation of that there is a universe of love that's available. And that's important. It's important to contact it and to feel sourced and supplied by it.
Wow. Beautifully said.